HOA Karen called the cops after her racist son demanded food too bad. I'm the police commander. Have you ever watched someone throw a tantrum over free food meant for veterans and then call the cops when they didn't get a second helping? What if I told you the cop they called was meth police commander? And what if I told you the tantrum was just the start? I wish I were joking. It was Saturday, a community food drive I helped sponsor outside my cousin's lake house, right on the edge of the neighborhood where I grew up, Hickory View Estates. The place hadn't changed much in 20 years. White fences, 4 smiles, and rules so strict even the birds seemed nervous to chirp too loud. And leading the charge, Karen Witherspoon, HOA president, noise patrol captain, and the neighborhood's self-declared values protector. She was big, loud, and always looked like she just smelled something offensive. I wasn't on duty that morning, just helping pass out food to elderly vets and single moms in the cul-de-sac. We had folding tables stacked with groceries, hygiene kits, even warm meals donated by the American Legion. I was in plain clothed jeans, black tee, no badge in sight, but I'd coordinated this whole drive with the county 2 months prior. Everything was going smooth until Karen's son pulled up. Rusty Witherspoon, 19, cargo shorts, tribal tattoo on his neck, and the kind of smug face only a spoiled HOA prince could wear. He strutted up to the table with a full Chick-fil-A combo in one hand and pointed at the stack of beef jerky packs with the other. I want 3 of those. No problem, my cousin said. We're giving 1 per person right now, just to make sure everyone gets something. Rusty scoffed. Don't you know who I am? That's when I turned around. No, I said, but you're welcome to introduce yourself like a decent human being. He turned his head slowly, looking me up and down. You work here? Nope, just volunteering. His eyes narrowed. Well, I live here. This stuff's for residents, not freeloaders and baby killers. My heart thudded. My hands curled into fists. Excuse me? I asked. He smirked. I said what I said. Before I could reply, Karen came waddling out of her garage in full-blown HOA dictator mode clipboard, straw visor, and that god-awful faux pearl necklace bouncing on her chest like it had its own agenda. What's going on here? She shouted, marching toward us. My cousin tried to explain, but Karen was already storming over to the tables. This event wasn't authorized by the HOA. These cans are creating an unsanitary risk. I want this trash gone. I stepped forward calmly. Ma'am, this is a county-registered charity event. We have permits. All legal. Karen's eyes bulged. Oh, so you're the organizer? Figures. You people think you can do whatever you want. You people. I echoed, voice low. She waved a hand toward the veterans waiting in line, black, Hispanic, Asian. I don't care what medals they've got. They don't live here. This is a private community. Rusty reached over and knocked over a stack of water bottles. Oops. That was it. You just committed destruction of property, I said flatly. Karen clutched her clipboard like a Bible. I'm calling the sheriff. Now. You do that, I said, folding my arms. And she did. Right there. On speaker. Yes, hello. There's a group of men harassing residents and loitering near Hickory View Drive. They're aggressive. Some of them lukewarm dangerous. That word again. Dangerous. As if passing out meals to veterans made us threats. 10 minutes later, a cruiser pulled up, and the moment Deputy Reynolds stepped out and saw me, he burst into a grin. Commander Lewis? Io. Wow. Karen blinked. Commander? That's when I pulled out my wallet and flipped my badge. I'm the police commander of this county, ma'am, and I also happen to be the person who signed off on this food drive. Congratulations, you just falsely reported an emergency. She stuttered. But Butch, you're kind this isn't. Oh, keep going, I said. You're already waist deep. Her face flushed beet red. She backed up toward her driveway, but it was too late. Half the block had their phones out recording. And then twist, number one of me, cousin walked up with a giant printed HOA newsletter with Karen's signature approving a community outreach pilot program on that exact cul-de-sac. Looks like you approved this event yourself 2 months ago, he said. Karen's mouth dropped. You forged my signature, she screamed. Nope, he said. It was emailed from your HOA address. Cue twist number 2. The HOA treasurer, Mrs. Willowby, a 70-year-old firecracker with perfect memory and a grudge the size of Texas stepped forward with a printed chain of emails. She not only approved, it asked for photos to use in the HOA newsletter to make herself look good. Boom! Karen's son tried to run, tripped over a box of canned beans. A chorus of laughter erupted. Deputy Reynolds turned to me. "Wanting to charge her now?" I raised a brow. "Let's go through the right process. HOA board meeting. Public vote. Let the neighborhood see who they really elected." And that, my friend, is exactly what we did. 3 days later, the HOA board met in the same community hall Karen had once ruled like a monarch. But this time, she didn't get to sit at the center table. This time, she sat 3 seats down, red-faced, fidgeting, and noticeably smaller than her usual towering presence, not in size, but in stature. Her son wasn't there. He'd been banned from the property after it was discovered he'd slashed the tires on one of the veterans' trucks the same day as the food drive. The board had footage. They had witnesses, and they were done covering for her. I stood up during the open floor session, wearing my full uniform this time, not because I needed to, but because I wanted them to see exactly who she had tried to disgrace. My name is Commander James Lewis. I've served 20 years in law enforcement. I've buried friends who died protecting this country. And last weekend, your HOA president tried to shut down a food drive for veterans because she didn't like the color of the people serving or receiving it. Gasps, murmurs, and one loud, drawn-out "shame on you" from the back. Then I turned to the board. "Here's what I propose. You can either vote tonight to remove her and issue a public apology to every veteran she disrespected, or I can bring this to the County Ethics Commission and let the entire state see the rot festering inside Hickory View Estates." They voted unanimously. Karen was stripped of her position that night. Her son was banned from all HOA-affiliated events. And the very next weekend, that same cul-de-sac hosted the biggest veterans cookout in county history, sponsored by the Sheriff's Department, the local firehouse, and 36 neighbors who said, "We didn't know it was this bad, but never again." As for Karen, well, let's just say she's not too fond of cookouts anymore, or clipboards, or cameras. A month later, I received a handwritten letter from a retired Marine who'd been at the food drive with his daughter. It read, "For years, I thought no one would stand up to that woman. You didn't just stand, you stood tall. Thank you for giving our service the respect it deserves. So now I ask you, after all that, is it ever okay to use power to push people down just because they don't look like you? True or false?" The end.